Alright everybody, it looks like we have some details on Sheamus cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase at Survivor Series and of course defeating Roman Reigns to become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now the details are that as of Sunday morning and even Sunday afternoon, WWE Creative still didn't know what to do with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. They didn't know if they wanted Ambrose, Reigns to win, whether they wanted Sheamus to actually come in and cash in the Money in the Bank. It wasn't until a couple hours before the show started that WWE officials stated they wanted Sheamus to cash in the Money in the Bank so he can defeat Roman Reigns. The crazy thing is that WWE officials is reported that they still want Roman Reigns to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship soon, but they want him to win it when people are not booing him. So when you saw at the end of Survivor Series and people were booing him, that's a reason why they had Sheamus go in and take it from Roman, because even Sheamus got a bigger pop than Roman Reigns. And if they want that to happen, if they want Reigns not to get booed, it's gonna take a while because not many people are feeling him. You're going to have to change his character altogether and just make him more appealing, because we've seen his type of character and not many people are attaching themselves to it anymore. They want something different from Roman Reigns, and he can be that different. It's just going to take a while. Next up, we have Cesaro expected to be out of action. Specifically, Cesaro is expected to be out of action for 4 to 6 months. He has a shoulder injury and he needs surgery. Now, this is very sad because, he'll be back in 4 to 6 months, but he was just having this slope, this going up. He was having this push. Recently, he was in the tournament for the WWE Championship. People were loving him with Cesaro sections, were filling the stadium. This won't necessarily help it. It won't damage Cesaro's push for the championship, but like I said, it won't really help it. It'd be better if he was there, but I think when he comes back, people are still gonna love him as they always did. Probably more people might hold up his Cesaro section because of what's happening and how he has to have surgery, but doesn't do him any favors. I really love Cesaro. He's a great wrestler. He's very agile, especially with his size. And if he just fixed his mic skills a little bit more, I think you'd see him be more in the title picture. Maybe it could have been him instead of Ambrose in the finale for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series, facing off against Roman Reigns. Who knows? We're just going to have to wait until the 4 to 6 months till he comes back, and let's see if they continue to push him. And hopefully he works on his mic skills just a little bit more. And I just really want him to be champion now. Next up, we have big names are set to be appearing on the Stone Cold podcast at Survivor Series. Like usual, there are some advertisements for the WWE Network, basically stating what's coming up, what are you going to be seeing in the next coming month or so, or even after that. Some of the stuff included Edge and Christian, following WWE superstars, more breaking ground, the typical stuff. It sounds really good, right? But like I said, talking about the Stone Cold podcast, 2 new guests have been announced, and they are Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. So far, the guests on Stone Cold Podcast have been amazing, have been really great. I've been loving each one of them. Love the interview Stone Cold has. And with Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels, it's just going to even get better. Ric Flair, it's going to be such an interesting interview, but I think I'm more excited for the Shawn Michaels one because I'm more of a Shawn Michaels fan. I really want to know what Stone Cold is going to talk about on that because I just love Michaels. You never know what he's gonna say. He's a guy that will really go out there and say whatever. He goes off script all the time. I bet you Vince always gets mad at him, but what are you gonna do? It's not like he literally works there anymore. He has the Legends contract only. But I'm excited for those 2 episodes. Next up, we have Darren Young is dealing with personal issues. You might have wondered in the recent weeks, why haven't we seen Darren Young, especially since we've been seeing Titus O'Neil. He was in the tournament for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He was at Survivor Series in that traditional Survivor Series tag match. That was like a surprise. And it's because, he's been dealing with some personal things. He even went on Twitter saying that he's been, having a rough time with something personally, but he reminds people to stay tough, to never let it bring you down, and it'll pass and whatnot. And this is good to hear because I've been missing Darren Young. I've been missing the primetime players, and hopefully this doesn't affect them too much. You would hate for personal issues to really just affect a wrestler on their career and them just having a good time in general, because I'm sure they have great time just being on the WWE roster doing what they're doing. I would love to see more of the primetime players soon. And lastly, we have Rusev and Lana could possibly be making a return soon. And by soon, I mean maybe tonight on WWE Raw, because reports are stating that there's a possibility that both Rusev and Lana could make an appearance on tonight's episode of Raw because it is in Nashville, where they live. Lana has been practicing at the WWE Performance Center, training herself, waiting for her in-ring debut. And we've known about that for some time now, that she's gonna be making a debut when she comes back from her injury. With Rusev, he's probably just taking time with his fiance because they are engaged. That's official. That's legit. Hopefully they'd come back, because I really want them to come back already. I miss Rusev. He's a really good wrestler. Him and Lana's gimmick was really good. I didn't like when they split apart, and hopefully when they come back, they'll be together.